Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The crypts have been opened, and the undead march forth. We have the Vampire Counts versus the Greenskins, where we have F&G leading the forces of the Vampire Counts, and we have Aeolus Varus is going to be leading the Greenskins. So for the Vampire Counts, we have a front line of zombies. For the front line, pretty standard stuff to be seen for the Vampire Counts, and they will be backed up, though, by Graveguard with great weapons, 3 of those, so some pretty heavy hitters in that department. Definitely going to be a little bit useful against what the Greenskins have brought today. But they're not really all that elite infantry. They are the best that the Vampire Counts can bring, though. And they do have a bit of healing support as well, though, with the Corpse Cart Unholy Lodestone. So they'll be providing some Vigor Mortis, plus a little bit of added regen to the surrounding units. And then we have a Necromancer as well, which is going to be bringing Invocation of Nehek, Raise Dead, and the Forbidden Rod for a little added magic regen to boot. We do have a Strigoi Vampire Lord up in the sky on his Terrorgeist, and he is just going to be bringing Doom and Darkness, and that is going to be all he has for his kit. And so that Doom and Darkness actually does very, very well against the Greenskins. Overcast that on a blob of infantry who are starting to get a little low on leadership, and you can see a very mass terror rout that can pretty much sway a battle on that alone. Otherwise, we have a couple of Vargeists up in the sky as well. You don't often see these guys. Maybe a little bit too expensive for what you usually get out of them, but a flying monstrous unit, not always the worst thing to be bringing. And the Greenskins don't have any range support, so that might be able to provide a little bit added mobility and choice for engagements. We do have some Black Knights, though, on the far flanks, one of which is the Varix Reavers. They do have regen themselves, and they are a decent shot cav, so it's not like the regular Black Knights. These have a very nice charge bonus of 62 versus the 26 of just the regular Black Knights, so it's pretty much the Lances and Barding variant. But now for the Greenskins, we have a mountain of rocks leading the charge. We have the Rogue Idol. You don't see him too often, but in a blob fight, which you'll often see against the Counts, he can be very, very useful, doing a lot of damage there. Otherwise, we do have Grom the Paunch, who is going to be bringing a few of his own abilities. We do have Language of the Boys. We have the Big Un is here, or the Great Un is here, and a Lucky Banner as well. So the first two are for the AoEs for the surrounding troops, giving some leadership, melee attack, base weapon damage, and immune to psychology for the Language of the Boys, and the Lucky Banner gives him some melee attack and damage resistance on top of that. We do have some Giant River Troll Hags, 2 of those. They each have a Spirit Leech, Mither, and the Rock Bombardment. So again, against the Counts, where you're going to be blobbing up pretty heavily, those Rock Bombardments can do quite a bit of work. Otherwise, we have the Warlord's Boys in the front line who do have immune to psychology, some Night Goblins with their Fanatics, and then we have 4 Goblins with Spears in the secondary line, and now the big Greenskins themselves. We have the Black Orcs. So we have 3 units of this very elite, heavily armored Greenskin unit. So that will be our armies, though, for today, as both armies are charging up the hill. And we will get this show moving. And both units, though, are going to be a little slow. I mean, the Greenskins are going to be slowed down by the Rogue Idol and the Black Orcs, who are very slow themselves. And the Counts, though, the zombies ain't exactly the epiphany of fast units, so they will all be kind of a little slow on the charge. It looks like the Goblins are going to be cresting that hill first, so they will get a small advantage there, being able to take the high ground. But if the Counts are able to quickly break through, we have Grom the Punch, though, is engaging with these Graveguard here, and the Rogue Idol is kind of hanging back a little bit, but otherwise the rest of the units are pretty much all engaging right on the crest of the hill. So not all is lost for the Counts, as they're pretty much on even footing for the rest of the troops here. But now the Strigoi Vampire Lord looking to be maybe angling up for a breath attack here. But it is going to be a little tough battle, though, for the Counts to work their way through all these Black Orcs. And here is that breath attack, as well as the Wah going down. Very nice breath there, getting in. And now we'll see if we're getting some nice rear charges, though, from the Vampire Council. They do have the mobility advantage, so that's really what they're going to have to bank on for this battle here. Getting nice rear charges throughout, as we do have these Black Knights coming up the hill. Looking to get a nice rear charge into these Black Orcs. They won't be doing a whole lot of damage, but they will be getting some, doing a nice charge, getting punting a few of them back the other side of the hill. Otherwise, this Rogue Idol doing so much damage, and a nice rock drop here, catching some Graveguard, as well as just some zombies getting clipped as well. But the goblins are starting to break all around on this engagement here. We have goblins routing off here. So the counts are slowly getting units off the field, and of course with the mobility, they are able to just pretty much break everything down that does end up routing. So, and here is the second wall for the Greenskins, so that is likely going to be the last one. We will not expecting to see any more of that. Though with a blob they potentially could, but I highly doubt it. But that is going to give these Black Orcs quite a bit of extra teeth to whittle through these Graveguard with great weapons, and the balance of power is a little bit in the Greenskins' favor right now, as even though we do have the Graveguard with great weapons, they're just not quite getting through these Black Orcs quickly enough. And I mean, that Rogue Idol is just sitting tall there, just nothing is able to even damage it, and it is pretty much going to have to be saved for last by the Vampire Counts if they want to take the day. It's pretty much going to have to break its leadership if they want to win. But the Black Orcs now are starting to collapse upon this little blob fight here, where we do have the Vargeist are engaging, as well as the Strigoi Vampire Lord. But we see these Black Orcs are starting to take quite a bit of damage. Actually, the Necromancer, who is the healing for and the spell casting for the Vampire Counts, is starting to take a lot of damage, and the Vargeist as well as the Strigoi Vampire Lord quickly jump on top of Grom as just to save that Necromancer. They cannot afford to lose their magic right now, as we do have some more zombies are chasing some surrounding units, and otherwise this the Corpse Cart does need to get close to this blob fight here to get that healing and Vigor Mortis off for their surrounding units. But now the Graveguard is starting to collapse more, so it's just a mass of units here in that front line, as we have the Strigoi Vampire Lord cycling in and out of this engagement. And we do have one of the Black Orcs has been routing right now. Actually, that was a Doom and Darkness and an Overcast. So this is what I was saying before with that Doom and Darkness. We do see the Black Orcs routing from that -16 leadership added effect area. So it's a very large area when it is overcasted. And Grom the Paunch is trying to keep things going, but we do see these Black Orcs routing, and nothing has really responded yet to chase them off. We do have some Black Knights here and here that could very easily chase these Black Orcs off, but nothing has been chasing. So if they do come back, I mean, that's still 16 models that can do quite a bit of damage. Now the Rogue Idol's riding down the hill, looking to get after this Necromancer, and yeah, the Necromancer trying to pull out of that engagement. We still have the other Corpse Cart on the other side that still needs to get closer to this engagement if it wants to provide its buffs to the surrounding units, and now we do see those Black Orcs coming back. So that was a misplay by the Counts, not being able to make sure that those Black Orcs did route from that overcasted Doom and Darkness. But now, yeah, the Strigoi Vampire Lord is going to have to carry its weight trying to deal with the Giant River Troll Hags, who need to really break the leadership of the Greenskins, because that Rogue Idol isn't going to be going anywhere. That thing is got a ton of armor, and it does a ton of damage as well. And the Counts are going to be very careful if they're going to want to be able to save that thing for last to get that off the field, which is likely going to have to be done by leadership at this point. Barracks Raiders chasing off a few more units on the flank, but nothing else that the Greenskins have is really on the outskirts. We do have the Warlord's boys, who are only at 19 miles. They might come back, but they are very low on health. Otherwise, yeah, it's just down to this blob fight. The Necromancer is starting to heal up a little bit, getting a little bit extra regen. But he is getting damaged slightly, though, from that Forbidden Rod as he gets a little bit more magic. And a nice breath attack. Looks like it missed its mark a little bit. I think it may have been going for a Grom. I think if he had been a little bit closer, he might have been able to get some more accurate shot off there. And we do have another. The Black Orcs is routing from another Doom and Darkness. This was not an overcasted one, but at this point doesn't need to be. But now we have two Black Orcs routing right here. Actually, we have all three Black Orcs routing. This is where the Vampire Counts need to jump on each of these units with their mobility. They have enough right now. They have the Varix Reavers here need to pull off there. We have the Vargeist and the Strigoi Vampire Lord all need to make sure that these units do not come back. They cannot afford to allow those elite troops back into this fight. We also have the Giant River Troll Hag, who is wavering as well, and the Strigoi Vampire Lord is mithered right now. Very slow charge here, looking to jump on top of that Giant River Troll Hag to break its leadership. It does regain its leadership just in time, though, and now the Rogue Idol and Grom are going to be responding and targeting that Strigoi Vampire Lord. And as they do break, though, right away as they was just started to come back, those Black Orcs, and those other units are being chased off by the Vargeist and Varix Reavers getting these other units. So now the Vampire Counts are getting those units off the field that they needed to. Balance power now a little bit in their favor with that Doom and Darkness routing off those very elite troops, leaving just the leadership and the Rogue Idol left on the top of the hill. Now the Corpse Cart with Unholy Lodestone, there's not a whole lot that it can do. We looked like we got a summons in the middle of this here. I don't know if that was quite the time for it. There's nothing that was really, none of the high value stuff for the Vampire Counts is engaged right now. It is all just the zombies right now, and the zombies aren't going to be doing any damage right now. So that summons was probably a little early casted there. They needed to wait until the Strigoi was here to keep these Giant River Troll Hags all engaged, and now that the Strigoi is in, now these Corpse Carts should get closer in to provide their support for him, as well as now the Varix Reavers and these Vargeist that are coming into the top of the hill, as the Black Orcs are shattered, except for this unit. This one has come back. So if this unit of Vargeist here, because it has shattered the other unit, can just jump on top of this. It's 10 units. It should even shatter them off the charge. But now we get another summons of zombies by the looks of things into this middle of this engagement, and now is when you wanted that summons, because now you're able to break the Giant River Troll Hag, both of them actually, from these charges. And once again, now that they have routed, you need to chase them off. So the Vargeist should be able to chase both of these units off. And for the Greenskins, I mean, they just have to weather the storm right now against the Counts and hope that their units are able to survive. Grom is kind of just stuck in this engagement right now. He does have some leadership buffs and stuff like that, but otherwise, good job with the Necromancer staying just out of reach of these units. And I mean, the Strigoi is still circling overhead, able to jump on anything that he needs to. But both the Vargeist doing a good job chasing off these Giant River Troll Hags, and it looks like, I mean, the Black Orcs are still out there, but yeah, those units, that even if they do come back into the fight, that's not going to be anything. They will probably rout even as they get close, just from the fear that these units do cause. But a very nice catch by the Vampire Counts, as they're able to do a ton of damage to Grom the Paunch right now, and as he got out of the engagement away from the Rogue Idol, and now they're just going to jump on top of him, and they should be able to rout him with another attack, though he does get right back in as he gets a little bit of leadership back, though a single hit is all it's going to take for him to go down. He does have regen, but there he goes. He does rout right now. He is very quick, though, so these Vargeist should be able to stay on top of him. The Giant River Troll Hag is shattered right here. The other one should be shattering fairly soon. And now it is pretty much just down to the Rogue Idol, and I think it is probably going to go down to leadership alone. So cycle charging in with this Strigoi Vampire Lord, just in and out of this engagement, is really going to be what the Vampire Counts need to do to deal with this Rogue Idol. Though at this point, I mean, the Rogue Idol, because as he takes damage, he loses armor, but he does more damage. So right now, I think if we take a look, we can see that he's on. We can just take a quick look at what these are exactly. So he's and they do concede, though. Yeah, the Rogue Idol, as he takes more and more damage, there's 3 different stages in which he does more damage at that point. But that will be the end of that match, as yeah, the Greenskins do concede, as you can see that the Rogue Idol is not going to be able to deal with everything that the Vampire Counts were able to bring. So we're taking a look at what the After Battle Report has for us, and take a look at these kills on that Rogue Idol. 325, and I know that's a lot of like zombies and stuff killed in, but that he just does such a good splash attack. So it's in a blob fight that Rogue Idol can do exceptionally well, as you can see. And then the Black Orcs, I mean, elite units like these are generally fairly difficult for the Vampire Counts to deal with, because, I mean, they have Graveguards with great weapons, though when you stack them up against Black Orcs, they're not going to win that engagement. Graveguard with great weapons, they have armor piercing. It's the best armor piercing that the Graveguard can bring, but they're still not really elite troops. Though the mobility, they missed a few opportunities early on, but in the mid to late game, they really were on point with chasing off things that routed from the Doom and Darknesses, and that was really kind of how the Counts had to break that Greenskin blob, was through leadership, and they did very well with that. I think if the Greenskins had swapped out one of the Giant River Troll Hags for a Black Orc Big Boss, that could have kept these units in the fight for longer, even with that Doom and Darkness, because he does provide some nice leadership, and he does have, I believe, immune to psychology as well for an AoE. So that, I mean, with Ground the Punch, maybe you're doubling up on that, but with how spread out the Greenskins were, because with what they had brought, they really should have been more condensed. They spread out across the whole line, and I mean, everything was I mean, these goblins broke pretty fast. I'm surprised 103 kills on this one here, but otherwise, yeah, Varix Reaver's doing very well. Corpse Cart and the Necromancer really keeping that sustain for the vampire counts. But yeah, the heavy hitters, I think the Strigoi and all these Var guys actually did very well. We're able to break apart the giant troll hags and eventually Grom as well. So very good match there. I do hope you all enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good one.